UCD AFC is statistically the worst team in FIFA 23. I've placed this squad of university students from Dublin into the bottom tier of the English Football League, where we'll rely on only signing youth academy players with the goal of making it to the Premier League and the Champions League. We have the advantage of starting this save with a homegrown talent. Morgan Williams is a 68 rated center forward from England. The 17-year-old has 78 to 94 potential and will put him through a position change to striker, giving him an additional +2 in his rating. Ollie Roberts also doesn't look half bad. While his overall rating is on the lower side at 55, the left midfielder still has 70 to 94 potential. The approximately 1 million in our transfer budget will go towards signing youth academy scouts, a 2-star one from the Republic of Ireland, along with a 3-star scout from Spain. Because this team is located in Dublin, we'll be keeping a scout in the Republic of Ireland every season, with the other 2 scouts moving around. This year we'll see a network in England looking for any type of player, along with Northern Ireland looking for any type of player. But with a lengthy League 2 season about to get underway, I figured we'd look through our board objectives. Fortunately, we have some youth academy related ones, and we need to try to avoid finishing in the bottom part of the league. Most of our squad already consists of players added through our youth academy, but I'm setting ourselves a 4-year challenge to make it to the Premier League. Otherwise, we'll transfer list our best player each year we don't make it to the Prem. Not exactly starting off on the brightest note, losing our opening fixture 2-0, but we'll see how results are going in January. We aren't exactly bottom of the table, but with the save having a focus on our youth academy, I expect to see a lot of progress every time we check in with the squad. We do need to improve upon our transfer budget though, so we'll see a few original UCD players leaving. Jack Keeney leaving to Christiansen for 300,000. Alex Dunn joining him for a 270,000 transfer deal. Kinsella Bishop joined Sligo Rovers on a 175,000 deal. Luke Bohr off to Drogheda United on a 125,000 transfer. And finally, Lorcan Healy is off to the Chinese Super League next year, where he'll join Wuhan 3 Towns on a free transfer. This first season was always going to be a struggle as we transitioned to a youth academy focus at UCD AFC, but we still avoided placing in the bottom 2 spots of the league. Crawley Town end up winning League 2 with Barrow and Stockport also gaining automatic promotion. Mansfield Town will be the 4th team to join them in League 1 as they win the playoffs. We'll keep tabs on every EFL league above us throughout this save, with Ipswich winning League 1. The championship winners was Watford, and Manchester City achieving another Premier League title. The coveted Papa John's trophy going to AFC Wimbledon, and City add another trophy with the FA Cup. Make that 3 trophies for City as they defeat West Ham in the Carabao Cup final. Real Madrid kick off their campaign with a 4-0 win in the UEFA Super Cup, and City with one of the best seasons I've seen in a rebuild as they defeat Milan in the Champions League final. A familiar Europa League final with Sevilla defeating Manchester United 1-0, and Nice get the win against AZ in the Conference League. One of our original players, Dara Keane, with some impressive numbers from the midfield, 16 goals across 50 appearances. That was enough to put him as the 12th best goal scorer in League 2. One of our newly promoted youth academy players, Yildiz, led the club in assists with 8 from 49. I put him just 1 assist short of tying the leader in League 2. But now for the primary focus of this video, we've got 3 players from each country that I'll be promoting. Starting in Ireland, Philip Neal is a 58 rated left wing back. The 16-year-old has 78 to 94 potential. Darren McAllister, a 57 rated center defensive mid. The 17-year-old has 72 to 94 potential. Finally, we've got Aiden Goff, a 55 rated center attacking mid. The 16-year-old has 76 to 82 potential. Northern Ireland's up next. Darren McCann leads things off. The 63 rated center back has 78 to 84 potential. Philip Maloney is a 56 rated left wing back, 80 to 86 potential on this player. And finally, a goalkeeper, Damien Bell, is a 54 rated prospect. The 17-year-old has 78 to 94 potential. Let's not forget about England. Not the best players here, but we'll still cover them. Joshua Burns, a 48 rated center attacking mid with 55 to 77 potential. Jasper Williams, a 46 rated center forward with 75 to 89 potential. And Edward Davison, a 45 rated left back with 75 to 81 potential. We'll need some favorable board objectives next year if we want to avoid getting sacked. An exciting year ahead at Dublin, as we should be able to field a full starting 11 and substitutes with only youth academy players. But if you're enjoying the video so far, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Assuming we achieve most of these objectives, we should get a nice boost to our manager rating, similar expectations as far as our domestic success. And most importantly, we should see our transfer budget rise even more. We have started to receive offers for Morgan Williams, interest from teams in France, Spain, and Germany, all around the 20 million mark. But we've got some outgoing departures to talk about. Sam Todd heading to Cheltenham Town for $250,000. Adam Wells joins Finn Harps on a $250,000 deal. Jesse Dempsey joins Gillingham on another $250,000 deal. Keane Moore also joins Gillingham on a $200,000 transfer. Mark Dignam transfers to Dundalk on a $200,000 deal. Alex Nolan joins up with Shelburne on a $200,000 transfer. And finally, Toby Janad transfers to Sligo Rovers on a $100,000 transfer. All those extra funds will make way for improving upon our one-star scout, just enough for us to sign a four-star scout from England. We'll be keeping our best scout in the Republic of Ireland, again searching for any type of player. Wales will have a scouting network established, along with Scotland, as we try to add some more talents to our youth academy. A full season now under our belt, we know what League 2 is like, and this time we will win our opening fixture. Hopefully keeping that form up until January, we are in contention for a playoff spot, 7th place. We've moved some players around, and I'm pretty happy with our starting 11, but there is still room for improvement. We've actually found some great talent so far this year. Martin Nugent is a 70 rated center attacking mid from Ireland, 78 to 94 potential. Rory McFadden, a 68 rated center back with 84 to 94 potential. We'll be promoting both of them right away and adding them to the starting 11. In the meantime, some more transfers out of the club. Donal Higgins joining with Sutton United on a $225,000 deal. Evan Osam signs for Hartlepool on a $175,000 transfer. Our regular season fixtures have ended, and we've done enough to find ourselves in the playoffs. We'll face Colchester in the first round of these playoffs, and keep in mind this is a two-legged affair. We win the first leg 3-2, and the second leg also going in our favor as we advance to the final 5-3 on aggregate. A spot in League 1 is up for grabs. This should be an interesting League 2 playoffs final as we face Newport County, who won 4-3 on aggregate. Starting off the highlights with one of our newly promoted Youth Academy talents, Nugent, finding Roberts in the left midfielder, going across goal and opening up the scoring 18 minutes in. Williams, obviously one of our top players, is going to get denied of a goal scoring chance and only a yellow card for that offense. Kind of took me by surprise, but fortunately we made some good defensive stops here in the final minutes. It got nervy at times, but Kozlov made some incredible saves, and that'll be enough for us to lift this playoffs trophy to close out the season. Our first trophy for Dublin, and also our first league promotion in this save. We took part in a lot of competitions, but I would call this a successful season. Taking a look at the league standings, Leyton Orient, Wimbledon, and Salford City will be the teams to join us in League 1. Relegation spots going to Sutton United and Gillingham. League 1 will see Blackpool winning the league, and the championship title going to Brentford. Manchester City repeating as Prem winners in a pretty close title race with just 2 points separating first and third. It's Wigan Athletic to lift the Papa John's trophy this year. Manchester City continuing their dominance in England as they defeat Spurs in the FA Cup final, also getting a win in the Carabao Cup final against Chelsea. This is their second consecutive season winning 4 trophies as they started the campaign with a win in the UEFA Super Cup. Spurs will end up taking the Champions League title. Manchester United getting their revenge in the Europa League as they win against Montpellier, and a surprise winner in the Conference League as Celtic defeat West Ham. A lot of our success this season can be attributed to Williams' goal contributions, 24 from 54. That was enough to make him the 6th best goal scorer in the league. Yildiz was the back-to-back leader in the assist category, and he also ranked in the top 10, 7th place in assists. Because we already promoted a few players from Ireland, just a single promotion here at season's end, Kyle Cash, a 63 rated center attacking mid, 81 to 87 potential. And now shifting focus to the other countries, Tony Morgan is our first player from Wales, 53 rated center forward with 72 to 86 potential. Mark Wood, a 48 rated center forward with 75 to 83 potential. And Adam Cox, a 47 rated center mid with 80 to 86 potential. Scotland's up next. Rory Reid, a 63 rated center back with 73 to 77 potential. Patrick Duff is a 61 rated striker with 79 to 85 potential. And finally, Oliver Stewart, 57 rated, but the right midfielder has good potential at 74 to 94. A nice rise in our transfer budget, and things are looking up. We've seen promotion to League One. A new year and new talents in this campaign for us to achieve back-to-back promotion from League One. We've lucked out again with some favorable board objectives, and this time the board is asking for us to fight for promotion. As a result, we've seen another rise to our transfer budget just north of 3 million, clearing out the last few original players at the club. Dara Keane, the first season top goal scorer, joins Mioveni on a 300,000 deal. Bihan Tajurov on a 300,000 transfer. And to make space in our squad, I've decided to let Cardoso, one of the Youth Academy players that we started with, leave to Bengaluru on a 300,000 transfer. Matthew Scott will be joining Harrogate Town on a 110,000 deal. Same with Harvey O'Brien off to Harrogate Town. That gave us just enough funds to sign our first five-star scout to the squad. I'm expecting some great talents from Ireland this season. We're also going to be setting up a network in the United States along with the Netherlands, so hopefully we can get some more rotation in our starting 11 and substitutes. We're expecting a similar amount of fixtures this year, and we will start off our League One campaign with a 2-1 win. That first month was actually fantastic. The only match we lost was in the Cup, so it's not surprising that we ended up getting a Player of the Month award for Williams. I was fairly surprised that a big club like Ajax is already offering us the manager job. Granted, 11 games in, we're 4 points clear at the top with a match in hand. Ajax are struggling, 5th place in the Eredivisie. Also, as things stand, they are bottom of their Champions League group. Well, I think many managers would take on this job. We have a project here at Dublin that we need to finish. We'll see how the squad is developing in January 2025. Good portion of our players already surpassing the 70 overall mark, and even Williams at an 81 rating. But again, I'm going to clear out a few players from the team that I don't see fitting into our long-term plans. Cowper's one of those players. Again, with a transfer to Gillingham as he joins for 500,000. Danny Norris is off to Crawley Town on a 280,000 deal, and Novak will transfer to Homecom Football on a 190,000 deal. It's been another successful campaign, 2nd place in League One. That, of course, will give us one of the automatic promotion spots to the championship. Wigan Athletic winning the league. Pretty much all the teams in the playoffs were close on points, but it's Rotherham United that'll join us next season in the championship. Relegation spots going to Leyton Orient, Barrow, Mansfield Town, and Lincoln City. The championship will see Burnley as league winners and Norwich joining them with automatic promotion. Chelsea taking away the Premier League title from City with 76 points. Sunderland winning a cup as they win the Papa John's Trophy, and City, despite not winning the Prem, retain their title as FA Cup winners. They'll also add the Carabao Cup as they defeat Leeds in the final. Manchester United defeating Spurs to start the season in the UEFA Super Cup, and Real Madrid defeats City in the Champions League final on penalties. PSG get a win against Milan in the Europa League final, and the Conference League title going to Wolfsburg. No surprises, Williams continues as the top goal scorer, 30 from 50. That was enough to have him as the league top goal scorer, the first time he's achieved that in his career. Ollie Roberts also developing nicely, 19 assists this year from 51 appearances. He was the league leader in that category. The final original Dublin player at the club is John Haste. The 29-year-old didn't receive any transfers, so we will let his contract expire. Really excited to see what Youth Academy talents will be joining us from Ireland. Darren O'Neill starts things off. The 59 rated center attacking mid has 77 to 91 potential. Paul McNamee, a 54 rated right winger with 69 to 89 potential. And another goalkeeper added to the mix, Kieran McGarry, a 53 rated talent with 76 to 92 potential. Always open adding some players from the United States, and Chase Tremblay looks to be solid, a 60 rated center back with 82 to 94 potential. Matt Fraser is a 59 rated right back with 67 to 93 potential, and Patrick Murphy, a 43 rated center mid with 77 to 91 potential. Our worst scout not bringing back the best talents from the Netherlands, but we've got Melvin Janssen, a 51 rated center back with 68 to 84 potential, Stefan Meyer, a 46 rated striker with 67 to 87 potential, and Max Kramer, a 41 rated center defensive mid with 71 to 87 potential. I think our manager rating has dropped slightly, but the important thing is that we'll be in the championship next season. Season 4 will be a decisive year for us at Dublin. We need to achieve our objective of gaining promotion to the Premier League. Otherwise, we can expect to lose at least one of these players. As for board objectives, they could have been better, but less expectations as we just need to finish mid-table. Moving forward, I don't see our transfer budget being too much of a problem. We will still be offloading players occasionally to make way in our squad. We added Mark Wood in Season 2. He is off to Lingby BK for 220,000. But it's time to add our second 5-star scout. Dave Hutchison will be added to the mix. We will, of course, be keeping our scout in Ireland, searching for any type of player. Our next 5-star scout will be in Korea, looking for any type of player. And a return to North America as our 4-star scout sets up a network in Canada. Our championship campaign will start against QPR, and I will take a draw. Not the most expectations for us this year, but we still achieved some good results. Not losing a single match in October, that was enough for us to earn Manager of the Month award. So we'll revisit results in January 2026, and we are above expectations once again in a playoff spot. I've got to give credit where it's due. Our players are growing at a tremendous rate. Quite a few talents already into the 80s for their overall. I had a lot of expectations for Bell. If you can remember, the top end of his potential was 94. Didn't pan out, so he will be joining Varnamo on a 750,000 deal. But with the regular season concluding, we are once again taking part in a cup competition. That, of course, will be the playoffs. We end up in 4th, which I don't consider to be a bad spot as we face Blackburn Rovers in the first stage of this competition. 2-0 in the first leg, 3-1 in the second leg, putting us through to the final against Brentford in a dominant fashion. Brentford should be tough competition. I believe they started in the Premier League, saw relegation, got back to the Premier League, and now, of course, they are in the Championship. So they also won their first leg by a pretty good margin. I'm expecting a difficult match ahead. They do end up getting the opener 27 minutes in. It's Damsgaard to score the goal, and we're trying to answer back and hopefully keep a better second half in mind as Brentford make it to just before the halftime break. But it's Roberts through on goal. Had he converted this chance, I think it would have been a very different last 30 minutes. But I got to give credit where it's due. Brentford's keeper pulled off numerous saves just like that one. And here in the 69th minute even, McAllister able to find Williams. The fake shots will cut the deficit in half. So we've got a chance to maybe draw things level before the 90 minutes are up. Only 5 minutes later, though, Damsgaard will go with the finesse shot. Just one of those games where things go against you, chances not going your way, and of course, these kind of efforts finding the back of the net. It was all summed up by this final chance for Williams. His shot goes off of the crossbar and out of play. Frustrating way to end our season, but to be fair, we performed above expectations the entire year. So it's Brentford to see the return to the Premier League and another year for us in the Championship. Not a bad season for Dublin when you factor in all competitions. As for the bottom part of the Championship, Millwall, QPR, and Stoke City will see relegation. Arsenal are the new Premier League winners, with Chelsea winning the FA Cup against Southampton. Aston Villa defeat West Ham in the Carabao Cup, and PSG get the win against Real Madrid in the Super Cup. Speaking of PSG, they lose in the Champions League final to Barcelona. Lens get the win against Wolfsburg in the Europa League, and Lyon win against Newcastle in the Conference League. Williams' goal output continues to go higher and higher, 33 from 55 this year. That was enough to put him as the second best goal scorer in the Championship, with Roberts continuing his contribution and taking over as the highest rated player at the club. He had the 5th most assists in the league, reaching the double digits mark. And for these new promoted Youth Academy players, I'm excited about this prospect from Ireland. Cathal Morrow, 63 rated center defensive mid with 83 to 93 potential. Hart is a 59 rated right back with 83 to 93 potential. And Goff, a 56 rated left back with 86 to 92 potential. Korea has added some great players to our Youth Academy. Sunny Yu, a 64 rated center forward with 85 to 91 potential. Tang is a right wing back, 62 rated, 85 to 94 potential. And Ryu, a 60 rated center defensive mid with 70 to 90 potential. Can't forget about Canada. Brian Green starts things off, a 61 rated center attacking mid with 82 to 94 potential. Evan Stewart, another goalkeeper, 57 rated, 72 to 86 potential. And Gavin Bailey, a 44 rated center back with 82 to 94 potential. Fortunately, we reached the playoffs and saw a big rise to our manager rating up to 77. This is the first time I said this in the rebuild, but the squad is about to get weaker for another championship season. We need to continue signing youth academy players and this time try to secure automatic promotion from the championship. Our transfer budget is close to 11 million, but in a surprise turn of events, Club Brugge was the team to offer a big transfer fee for Roberts. I'm not sure where they got those funds from, but it's a big move for the Englishman with potential to be special. He's probably going to be getting Champions League football. On a positive note, we can add our final 5-star scout. This season, we'll see networks set up in Ireland for a technically gifted player, Australia for a physically strong talent, and Germany for a goalkeeper. We should be familiar with most of our opponents in the championship now as we begin our season against Cardiff City. We've moved around some players, Nugent taking over the left mid/left wing spot, and that change seemed to have made the difference as Nugent scored the late winner for us in our season opener. Checking on results in January 2027, we have seen a swift rise to the top, second place in the league standings only to West Brom. And this is a team, for the most part, has the quality to be competing in the Champions League, so I don't think we'll have too much trouble in the championship moving forward. With that said, we need to figure out the goalkeeper spot. It's one of our weakest links. We found two good talents from Germany, Mats Baumann, a 69 rated talent, 72 to 94 potential, and Hauk Fuchs, a 65 rated player with 76 to 94 potential. Along with that, two players from Ireland. Morrow is eligible for promotion at an 86 to 92 potential, and Pierce Lennon, a 63 rated right winger with 84 to 94 potential. But with our season coming to an end, we have one final fixture against West Brom. They seem to have dropped in the standings. We've already secured our spot in the Premier League, but a win will mean a league title, and it's a 3-0 result for us. That's another trophy and our first league title so far in this rebuild. I think the fact we had less competitions this season definitely made a difference. A final look at the table sees us win the championship by 4 points. Burnley, the team to join us in the Premier League alongside Watford, who win the promotion playoff final against Bristol City. Relegation zone will be going to Portsmouth, Barnsley, and Rotherham United. Manchester City once again winning the Premier League with the FA Cup going to Liverpool this time around. Chelsea win the Carabao Cup against Arsenal, and Barcelona kick off the season with a Super Cup win against Lens. Barca will also repeat in the Champions League as we saw an El Clasico final against Real Madrid. Wolfsburg once again winners in Europe as they win the Europa League against Benfica, and Lille defeat Madrid in the Conference League final on penalties. Another good goal output from Williams, and the big thing is he will be staying at the club now that we are in the Premier League. He was the championship top goal scorer by a fair margin. Nugent also stepped up in a big way, seeing a +8 in his overalls. He took over out wide. His 11 assists in the league was enough to be the leader in that category. Couple of final promotions at season's end. McGee, our final product from Ireland this season, 62 rated, 83 to 93 potential for the right midfielder. Theodor Walter is another goalkeeper from Germany, 64 rated with 85 to 94 potential. And three talents from Australia. Walsh, a 59 rated center defensive mid with 80 to 90 potential. Welsh, a 57 rated center back with 85 to 94 potential. And finally, Elliott, a 53 rated center defensive mid with 81 to 94 potential. Our manager rating hovering between 70 to 80 for pretty much the entirety of this rebuild so far. Things are about to get very interesting. Regardless of how good we've been in the past, does this squad have the strength to withstand the test of the Premier League? Expectations to make a profit are getting more lofty from the board as we try to avoid relegation and reach the round of 16 of the FA Cup. Not the most pertinent to us, but a big rise to our transfer budget, up to 94 million. And it's pretty incredible some of the offers that were coming in for Morgan Williams. 313 million from Juventus, but I am glad to have him stay as our club top goal scorer. This season, Sky Networks will be established in Ireland as well as Sweden, looking for a physically strong player, and also in India for a technically gifted talent. A tough month ahead though, our season opener against Liverpool, which we end up losing due to 2 goals from midfielders in Tchouameni and Locatelli. But revisiting results in January 2028, we've done a decent job so far, accumulating 22 points, sitting 13th place in the Prem. Couple of squad morale issues, but I'm not unhappy with our player ratings. Still need to focus on that goalkeeper spot, but by the end of the season, we held pretty steady, finishing 14th place in the league. Manchester City returning as Premier League winners with Spurs, Chelsea, and West Ham rounding out the top 4. Relegation spots going to Nottingham Forest, Brighton, and Burnley this year. Crystal Palace and Brentford, 2 teams that are very familiar with the Premier League, returning to the top flight. No surprises, City end up winning another FA Cup against Manchester United. West Ham win the Carabao Cup against Liverpool 2-0. Barcelona defeating Wolfsburg in the UEFA Super Cup. City returning as Champions League winners against Inter. Athletic Club Bilbao winning the Europa League against Milan, and Real Betis win the Conference League 3-2 against Dinamo Zagreb. Despite Williams scoring fewer goals, we have to remember this is against tougher competition. He did have the second most goals in the Premier League behind Victor Osimhen. Nugent still putting up good numbers from the left wing spot, 10 assists from 42 appearances. He had the 4th most in the Premier League. A lot of youth academy promotions with Mark McCarthy starting things off in Ireland, a 66 rated right winger with 88 to 94 potential. Jordan McCarthy, a 55 rated right back with 76 to 90 potential. Cian Flanagan, a 50 rated center attacking mid with 69 to 94 potential. On to Sweden, we've got Hansen, a 60 rated right back with 83 to 94 potential. Andreas Nilsson, a 51 rated right wing back with 72 to 94 potential. And another right back from Sweden with Johansson, a 51 rated player with 72 to 92 potential. Next up is India. We'll start with Begum, a 62 rated center attacking mid with 85 to 91 potential. Hussein, a 56 rated right winger with 86 to 92 potential. And Mohammed, a 46 rated center mid with 68 to 92 potential. And for the first time in this rebuild, our manager rating has exceeded the 80 overall mark. We've achieved the most difficult test of staying in the Premier League for the first season. Now we can try to make some progress with this squad. Perhaps we'll see some Youth Academy player sales, but for domestic success, we look to finish mid-table and have a transfer budget of $55 million. We'll see a few outgoing departures to free up squad space. Jake Welsh leaving for Albertine on a $750,000 transfer. Tony Morgan heads to Gornik Zabzor on a $300,000 transfer deal. One of our original Youth Academy goalkeepers, Watanabe, is heading to FC Sion on a $300,000 transfer. And for this year's scouting networks, we've got Ireland set up for the rest of the season, Chile, our first time in South America, as we look for any type of player, and finally Japan, as we also search for any type of player. It's a more feasible start to our Premier League season, chance for us to maybe get 9 from 9 points as we begin against Crystal Palace and start with a win. Reviewing results January 2029, we are top 4 in the Premier League. The title race is not very close. Arsenal 11 points clear of City, but a lot of teams trying to achieve Champions League football. We finally balanced out this team with Fuchs growing really well in his rating and the rest of the squad developing at a rapid pace. We will see one outgoing departure due to player morale. Philip Neal, not a bad talent at all, heads to Real Madrid on a $25.5 million transfer. Joshua Burns also leaves to Hermannstadt on a $270,000 deal. And we haven't seen too many pre-contract deals, but our original goalkeeper, Kozlov, will be joining Besiktas at the start of next season. With the Premier League coming to its end, we've got one final fixture against Fulham, and a win here would secure our place in the Champions League next season. Fulham trying to come out and crush the dreams of all these Dublin fans that have been supporting the squad since we're in League 2 for these last 7 seasons. And of course, it's Williams to open up the scoring. The chip shot effort past the goalkeeper, and that'll give us the 1-0 advantage. Really not too many chances for either team in the rest of this one, and all it took was one spectacular goal for us to get the lead and to hang on to it for the rest of the match, as we will be celebrating with the fans in Europe next season. A 4th place Premier League finish and 4th round appearances in both competitions as we take a look at the final league table. Arsenal winning the league, United, Chelsea, and us rounding out the top 4. Relegation spots this season going to Leeds, Bournemouth, and Brentford. It's Nottingham Forest and Brighton to secure automatic promotion to the Premier League next year. And I don't know how many times City have won the FA Cup, but it's been a lot. But they fell to Wolves in the Carabao Cup final on penalties. City also winning the UEFA Super Cup at season start. PSG win the Champions League against Juventus. Real Madrid picking up the Europa League title against Club Brugge, and Villarreal defeating Liverpool in the Conference League final. Still a solid goal output from Williams, 24 from 43. That ranked him as the second best goal scorer in the Premier League. And for assists, Nugent still hitting the double digits mark. All of his assists actually coming in the Premier League to lead the league in that category. Only one promotion from each country this time around because our squad is already pretty spectacular. So Aaron McDonnell is our talent from Ireland. The 64 rated left midfielder is 86 to 94 potential. Dani Acuna is a 62 rated left wingback from Chile, 91 to 94 potential. And Toshi Watanabe, a 58 rated goalkeeper from Japan, 77 to 94 potential. Bit of a drop in our board objectives this year, but it's Champions League football in Season 8. This Dublin squad has withstood the test of every competition we've been involved in, but does it have the quality to match up in the Champions League? We will need to rely more on our board objectives this season. As for domestic success, we'll try to finish in a Europa League spot, reach the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, and also reach the final of the Champions League. Our transfer budget nearing 100 million, and that will actually come into play this year as we will be trying to save the funds for a certain player rival. Our first big departure is Son Hee-yu leaving for Roma on a 90 million transfer. Pierce Lennon going to Osasuna on a 30 million deal. The American Chase Tremblay joining Spezia on a 20 million transfer. Villarreal signs one of our top assist players from early on, Yildiz, leaving on a 20 million fee. Darren O'Neill going to Fulham on a 20 million transfer. Gavin Bailey signing for Athletic Club Bilbao on a 20 million deal. Matt Fraser going to Club Bruges on a 10 million transfer. Brian Green to Deportivo Alaves on a 10 million deal. Mats Baumann to Henk on a 7.5 million transfer. And finally, Peter Goff heads the Ligue 1 on a 2 million deal. All these outgoing departures was to bring back one of our former players. Ollie Roberts has become world class at Club Bruges, and he's going to cost us a big transfer fee, but because he was an original youth academy signing and we've also got Champions League football now, I thought it was okay to use some of our transfer budget and bring him back. Ended up being a 250 million transfer. Actually not that much more than his evaluation of 230 million, but hopefully the added addition will make for an incredible squad as we start our season against Manchester City. Here is what the starting 11 and substitutes look like after all those outgoing departures. For the most part, the strongest parts of our team are still intact, but we still lose the opener to City 3-2, but we do have the Champions League to consider. Facing off against Real Madrid, Monza, and Dynamo Zagreb in the group stage. Madrid have actually completed an Irish signing of their own, signing Andrew Omabamidele, who's now up to an 83 rating. Harvey Barnes has made the transfer to Monza, also at an 83 overall. And Dynamo Zagreb, always known to have a couple of good youth academy players, have Marco Bulat up to an 81 rating. This is an important January transfer window as we're now past the 2030 mark. And we've dropped a bit in our Premier League performance, down to 8th place. However, we are crucially through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. 13 points is a pretty good outing, but Real Madrid didn't lose a single match. We can now say all of our players in the starting 11 are past an 80 overall rating as we head into the round of 16 of the Champions League against Milan. Frankie de Jong has become one of the world's best players, now at a 91 overall in Italy. It was a 0-0 draw in the first leg, but we were victorious with a 2-0 result in the second leg. That means we'll face Atleti in the quarterfinals. One striker that seems to be getting a lot of attention in the career mode community recently is Rasmus Højlund, the Danish striker up to an 86 overall. We do win the first leg though. 2 late goals gives us the advantage, and we secured another late goal in the second leg to put us through 3-1 on aggregate. The semifinals will see us face Borussia Dortmund, and Jude has stayed there the entire save. Not something that I see all that often, but he's up to a 91 rating. However, we are scoring goals for fun at this point. A 4-1 result in the first leg and a 1-0 win in the second leg means that we advance 5-1 on aggregate, where we'll face PSG in the Champions League final. Although this is our final fixture of the season, we've got a lot to revisit. Ended up being a 7th place finish for us in the Premier League. Liverpool winning the FA Cup against Leicester City, also winning the Carabao Cup against Chelsea. PSG already have 1 trophy to their name as they beat Real Madrid in the UEFA Super Cup to start the season. Stade Rennais winning the Europa League against Sociedad, and Leipzig defeating Napoli in the Conference League. We have an incredible trio of attackers in this team, but make sure to stay around to the end of the video to get an update on some of those high potential talents that left the team at season start. But for the moment, our focus is on this Champions League final. Can we lead Dublin to become the best team in Europe. Thiago Tomas seemingly had an opener just 5 minutes in, but it was called back for offside. A lucky break for us as we get into the second half. It's Williams to find McAllister, who ended up becoming one of an incredible center defense in mid. Really should have been a goal, but a fantastic save from Donnarumma. I found it ironic that this chance ended up being the way that we opened up the scoring in extra time. And again, playing through Roberts, he will go cross goal, and it's going to be 2-0 for us in the 101st minute. We're just before the end of the first period of extra time, and a mistake from Fuchs as he tried to close down the cross, and it ended up being a goal for PSG, but we do still hang on to that 2-1 lead, lifting the Champions League trophy. Williams being a key player in this youth academy rebuild since the very beginning. But as promised, we'll check on the 3 best talents that left the club, starting with Suni Yu. He's up to an 85 overall at Roma. Pierce Lennon, an 82 rated player over at Osasuna. And also in Spain is Philip Neal. He won the Europa League with Madrid last season, and he's now at an 82 overall.